Hey guys, it's Jouelzy, and it is time for a Smart Brown Girl Thursday. My bed still ain't made up. I have no fucks to give about my bed right now. It's Thursday and it's late. So today, I finally got around to doing a Smart Brown Girl tweet since it's Smart Brown Girl Thursday. I was tweeting about vulnerability in relationships, and I get a interesting amount of questions around kind of relationship advice, whether it's talking specifically about someone else's relationship and how they should move forward, or how I feel about being a single black female and dating in 2014. And, relationships are just part of my life that I like to keep private. I wanted to more so get into the actual relationships, like dating and significant others topic, and talking about vulnerability and taking risks, because this has definitely been a growing experience for me. Moving to a city and not knowing anyone is not for the faint of heart. I particularly wouldn't recommend it for anyone, which is why when you guys start asking me for moving advice and should you move to Houston without a job or knowing someone, I ain't finna tell you to do that. This ish ain't easy, but it's been very gratifying for me. Just I've really been trying to grow as a person, right? I know that I'm very emotionally insecure, and so I've been working towards getting over my emotional insecurities and working towards getting comfortable being vulnerable, not just in the context of relationships, but in life in general. It has not been easy again, but it's been very worthwhile. Allowing yourself the space to be very clear about what you want, need, and deserve in a relationship, and not feeling like you have to be concerned about other people's opinions about how you do things. I really believe in living a life with no regrets and living the life that I want to live versus the life that other people want me to live. And so I have not been very traditional in dating, just because I just don't care for, I don't really like to date in general. I'm not a big dater. And so it's really taking the time to sit down and think about who I am as a person, and think about the other things people have said to me, and figuring out what of that I really want to apply, and letting go of all the other things that I just don't find necessary. I've been very blessed to have really good friends or friend. Suna, who I interviewed on my YouTube channel, she's a scientist at Johnson & Johnson, is an amazing, awesome sauce friend. I love the shit out of her. And it's been great having someone who is able to tell me when I'm wrong without being judgmental, or able to make me think about how I might be wrong without being judgmental. I went through a situation recently, and I decided to kind of go against the grain and do something that everybody told me not to do. And when I talked to Suna about it, it wasn't, oh, Jouelzy, don't do it, that's so dumb, you gotta be a strong black woman. She was like, well, no, let's take some time and think about where this is coming from. What is your intentions? Is this with good integrity? Let's sit down and talk about and work out the nuances of kind of why you want to do this and where this is coming from. Let's really think about it. That's a really supportive friend who can sit down without telling you which way to go, but give you the space and help you think through the direction that you think you want to go in, and then come to your own conclusions. Now, also, I keep a journal. I've been journaling a lot more lately, and it's been very helpful because, when you go through things and emotions tend to cloud and complicate things, it's good to be able to go back and look. I was reading my journal from 2008, and I'm I'm able to see patterns that I do in relationships and when I'm dealing with men. It's I do this thing every time, and it really kind of provided a moment of clarity for me and helped me feel more secure about the decisions that I'm choosing to make now as an adult, that I can see my growth from when I was, 21. This is what you have to be careful with in finding friends. This is the tricky part, is that often what I've heard from other people is people telling them that they're weird, or they're different, or they're not correct in feeling the way they feel. And I really feel when it comes to emotions and how you feel or emote, there is no rule book to how things are supposed to go. I feel when people start to tell you that your emotions are weird or silly, it's only because they don't have the time or the energy to care, really. My book, Send It On, there's a character, Sheldon, who's based off of my real life former friend, Sean. And I remember me and Sean were really, really close at one point in time. He lived with me, and every day I would come home and we would talk about our days or whatever. Every day we just talk. We sit and talk so much. And one day Sean was really upset with me because he said I never asked him how his day's going. And I was like, what kind of bitch ass shit is this? Why are you sitting here talking about, really? You're upset? And he was he stopped me and he was like, you really got to think about it though. He's like, but I talk to you and I ask you how your day's going every day. Do you not appreciate that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, how does it make you feel? And I was like, it makes you feel like you care. He's like, so how do I know that you care? And I had to take a step back and be like, you know what? That is true. I'm being very careless in telling you that you're silly for feeling some type of way about me not asking you about your day. Like, you were honest enough to bring it up with me, and I should respect it and give it some thought and put it into application. And so I did. And ever since then, I've been a lot more cognizant about dealing with people and checking when they come to me talking about their emotions, whether I'm saying things because I just don't want to talk about it, I don't have the energy to give to them, or because I really feel that way. And so rather than telling someone that they're silly or stupid or weird, I usually will tell them, you know, I just am not in a space to give you advice on this. Like, I really just don't know, and I can't, like, if you want to talk about it, just to talk, I can sit here and listen, but I really just don't have a whole lot to say. And I think that's really a lot more respectful and helpful to someone than telling them that they're weird. I was really upset the other week about this boy, and I just got the phone with my homegirl, and she's like, you know, it really changed like how I think of you, and you know, I just want to protect you from ever being that upset. And I'm like, you know what, honestly though, you can't. Like, at some point in time, I'm going to be that upset again, and I'm okay. Like, I'm really okay with how emotional I am. And it's taken me a while to get to this point in being okay with my emotions, because for the longest time, I really wanted to be cool. I always wanted to be cool and kind of carabine through life and just always be that person, you know, I'm a delta, so we ducks, and you know, you paddle real hard on the water, but you let everything else slide off your back. And I really wanted to be that person that could just let everything roll off my back. And it's like, honestly, shit don't roll. Sometimes it starts to slide, it gets stuck, gotta throw that pity party and shake it off, and then it rolled away off. And I have to allow myself that space to deal with my emotions, because for so long I haven't dealt with them in the name of having a lot of pride and being the strong black woman and just getting over it and moving on and doing things, that I'm doing myself a disservice. And I'm thinking, when I end up in a relationship, that I want it to be some sort of like, I want a Negro to be singing every morning when he wakes up to me, singing John Legend, All of Me. Like, we are giving each other all of ourselves. How can I ask someone to give me their whole self if I can't give my whole self in return, because I have not dealt with my emotional self? Like, all this Steve Harvey, wait 3 months before you have sex, and you got to have this and this and this and this together. I think a lot of discussion just misses the mark on talking about how much it matters to have your emotional sense of self together. You have to shed your emotional insecurities, and it takes time, and it's not that all of them are going to be let go, but I have to just deal with these things with me, in me first, before I can go seeking them in other people. I've been learning to let go of being worried all the time, of letting go of my anxiety. I don't have to read between the lines anymore. I can just kind of let go and let things be and exist in a space of just being okay with whatever may come. Like, I really could get on this platform, right, and start a whole relationship series, and I could make a ton of money via the clickbait topics of how to find you a man and get married and do all this other stuff. And I honestly don't feel like any of that stuff is really beneficial to people, because it's not tailored to you personally. Like, it all comes back to you and who you are as an emotional person. I want to encourage all of my smart brown girls and guys, especially the men, because men are so much more insecure than women. It's like, oh my gosh, y'all have a lot of shit to work on. But, you know, if you're fortunate to have that friend that you can talk to, definitely utilize them, and be that good friend that you need from someone to someone else too. You know, it wasn't like me and Suna kind of hit this straight off the mark. Like, we had to get to that point where we were doing it for each other, and that's why it was like, okay, well, you know, when I talked to you and I was upset, you gave me the benefit and you helped me think through something. This is how you talk to me. So now when I deal with you, I can talk to you and help you through that in return. And even if you don't have the friend, keep a journal and write down how you feel, and be very clear and succinct. Don't try to skirt over. Don't beat yourself up for being sad. You know, girl, I was out in public crying the other week. I don't feel bad about it. Like, yeah, I look a hot ass mess. I was weak as fuck, but it's fine. Like, I'm human, and those feelings I'm allowed to have, you know? Like, I sat on the phone and was crying with my homegirl, and then the next week I'm like, fuck it, I'm good. And you roll with it. I threw my pity party. I got me a bottle of wine, and I got over it. And I'm dealing with it how I want to deal with it. I'm not dealing with it based on how everyone else is telling me how to deal with it. Really dealing with things that I've avoided for so long, and I'm benefiting from it 100 times over. And I'm clear, everyone keeps commenting about how much happier I look. Girl, it ain't been easy, but I've been doing it. And then also, you know, I feel like I get compliments a lot more on my look now. I walk through and people are like, whether I have makeup on or not, no matter how my hair is, someone's always telling me, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. And I feel like that's because I'm living the life I want. I was searching for my happiness, and I had to really look for it within myself and deal with my emotional and mental self and get to a space where I could own my weaknesses and not let them defeat me. And I feel like it exudes 100 times. Like, you know, my skin is cleared up. I'm radiating. I'm illuminated, girl. Poignant chapter in my book, Send It On His Eye, right? And this is coming from a place when I wrote this. This was about, and this, you know, this was correlated to myself at the time, about feeling like I could just never kind of grasp on the totality of who I am supposed to be. Like, who is I? You know, what do I deserve? What do I have the right to? And I feel like every time I go out for something for me, it wasn't coming back in the way that I wanted it to come back. And so, I was thinking the other day, because I had a moment, I was outside in a parking lot talking to someone, and it just like a gush just came over me, and I was like, my homeboy was looking at me. He was like, why are you looking like this? He just said, you have this look on your face. He's like, he was like, what's on your mind? And at the time, my mind wasn't empty, but I just didn't have any words for what was on my mind. And then, I walked away and I realized I just had I don't think anything came over me. I feel like all this worry and anxiety that I've been existing in for some time just kind of lifted off of me. Like in this chapter, I say, I cannot articulate my emotions. Only I, lowercase I, can allow anything other than happy to escape, and even that is only through my thumbs. My emotions can only be explained through music, though I allows my pride to become my hubris, never allowing the world to see anything other than cool solely be. I scream from the inside, scratching, screeching to be released. A deluge of all my passion and emotions of the real me and I, that I is so afraid that no one can handle. I is not I. I is at loss. I needs to be saved. Save me. Save I. Save. I think I've been saved, and I feel really good. Like, even if I get my feelings hurt again, even when I am upset, even when I'm going through these less than feelings, I'm still in a really good space, not physically, but emotionally and mentally. And it took a lot of hard work. And I think we, in the context of relationships, don't talk about this emotional hard work that it takes to find the satisfaction. We always talk about it in very kind of perfunctory terms. And I want to encourage all my smart brown girls and boys out there to take that time for emotional growth. So next time you're in a situation and your friends are telling you whatever about this guy or this girl that you're seeing, and I want you to take a step back. Give yourself a moment to feel however it is you're feeling. Write about it. Sit down. Give yourself a moment of clarity. If you're 21 and under, you just need to take a break and walk away, because I promise you it'll come back to you tenfold. But if you you paying some bills, right, and you got your ish together otherwise, and you are really in serious relationships, and you are going through this range of emotions, don't beat yourself up over the length of time you spent with the person. Don't beat yourself up over the physical contact you've had with the person. If you talk to the person for 2 weeks and you crying over them, it's okay. You have that right. But sit down and take some time to give yourself a moment of clarity about where your emotions are derived from before you go talk to your friends about it. And then when you make a decision, just make a decision with realistic expectations about where you can go from here and what you are willing to put up with emotionally and what you are okay with dealing. And also think about, based on your decision, what are the opportunities for growth in that decision? Are you making a decision based off of comfort and familiarity and not wanting to let go? Or you make a decision because you actually think there's room for growth and opportunity and maturation in this process? And I think that is how you find the right relationship. I ain't got all the answers, but I do know how to put the work in and get the gratifying results. And I feel like I am on to something. So hashtag smart brown girls. Let me know down below. Have you ever made a decision that was opposite of what everyone was telling you to do? And what was the outcome? Whether it was good or bad, let me know. Especially my older ladies out here that got all the life experience. Let us know. Give us some teas about what's been going on with you. Right? Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Jouelzy. I'll be doing Thursday Smart Brown Girl tweets. You can feel free to leave me a topic if there's something you would like me to talk about. And comment, thumbs up this video because it helps me out. Share it with your friends. And of course, if you are not subscribed, subscribe to Jouelzy and come along for the Smart Brown Girl ride. All are welcome. Thanks for watching. Deuces! Ugh, don't even mind the fact that my bed isn't made in the background. No one cares. My face should be all the focus. So